10. Cora vs. Storm.
Good episode.
Yeah, listen, I know the debate for this episode is the weakest part. But they tried so hard to make this a good episode. And I think
Made me
succeeded.
like Cora. Like, I went into this not really caring about Cora. They kind of shat on her just to annoy Richard, on all honesty. But really, I was like, you know what? She's an alright character. Actually, kind of a shame she had to lose.
Yeah, a little, but apparently this was one that the crew also have wanted to do for a long time. And I argue that the Spirit Realm scene in this is one of the best parts of this entire season, because it references so many past combatants, which is something that Maid wanted in another episode. We didn't get it, we get it here.
It's kind of sad seeing Batman there as well. It's like, come on, man, don't rub it in anymore. I'm already sad over Iron Man versus Batman.
I mean, there was also Ace, Sonic, Ben 10, of course.
Jotaro.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they didn't throw in, like, Zuko, Gara, and Edward Elric, because they lost all the previous Avatar episodes.
Yeah, that would have actually been a nice reference.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh, look, let's throw in Batman. It's like, what does Batman have to do with... I mean, I know Nickelodeon and Warner Bros. Have done, like, cross-promotions before.
So I have this at number 10, exactly. And Maid, I think I know where you put this on your list, so...
If you saw the Max and Mate video, you know where it was.
Yeah, because you and Max
doesn't
are at the
deserve
same
to
spot.
be.
Okay, let Maid explain himself.
Doesn't deserve to be there.
Let Maid explain himself to us why he put it at 16.
Yeah, honestly, just the more I spoke to Max about this, I'm not a fan of this episode. Like, don't get me wrong, there's still bits in it I do like. It's just, if I had to name a least favorite of the season, it's this. Like, the constant use of Queen shit kind of got annoying, and it's also weird how it's only in Cora's analysis, but not Storm's.
Okay.
I don't know, I just wasn't invested in this either, and it honestly feels like they tried a bit too hard to make it sound like Cora could do something. And I'm not usually one to point this out, but there is a giant maths error in the post-analysis. Like, they say, oh, Storm can do this thing where she can make a storm around the planet, and Cora can scale to this thing where she moves an island. Well, Avatar Kyoshi moves an island. The difference between that is 250. It's not. Like, a single exaton is 1 billion gigatons, so that's way off. But in all honesty, I think they just got feats mixed up when writing, because there was a teraton feat they brought up as well, and 1 teraton is 1,000 gigatons. So I think they just got things mixed up while writing the script.
This happened with Android 17, too. Or was it 18?
Yeah, no, it was 18.
Okay. They did this, and Death Battle even acknowledges that problem. I don't think it's that much of a concern if it's the winner getting a little bit of an error, as long as the Death Battle team, admit something happened. It was not actually this.
Yeah. And what was the other thing? Like, I think it was in Red Runner's reaction, he brings up they barely spoke about Cora's story. It was just like, okay, Aang died. The new avatar is Cora. Here's her depression. Let's wrap up by talking about the rest of the cast.
I feel like they wanted to focus more so on Cora's progression as a character than her actual series.
That's what I got. Which is what made me like her. I feel like
Honestly,
a hero's struggle is more interesting than what the hero is.
Honestly, like, I went into this because I was a big fan of Storm, and I thought that Cora seemed interesting. I don't know if I'll check out her show, but Cora herself seems interesting. as far as like seeing her develop goes, you know.
Yeah, I get ya.
And then I thought they also handled Storm like really well, talking about what she does and what her powers actually are, and also how she progressed to become like one of the leaders of the X-Men.
Oh yeah, no, that I like.
And marrying the Black Panther. The win.
I find it also. I always forget their names, but Cora's voice actor for her first debut was fantastic.
I do need to kind of comment about something about Storm and Black Panther. Is it kind of ironic someone who's weak to electricity dating someone who could literally control it from her fingertips?
That just makes pressure on T'Challa not to piss Storm off.
Well, I mean,
Right?
she
It's
does
like,
a
well-
shit ton more than just electricity.
But
That's
the fact is, like, imagine if Superman dated, like, someone who had kryptonite as a laser that she could disperse. It's like, it's kind of an awkward relationship if you get on their bad side.
I think Superman dating anyone is an awkward relationship if you get on his bad side.
No, I meant...
Well, yeah, but you can
Forget it.
turn it around. I mean,
So I kind of figured out why the cars were there in a weird kind of way.
What?
It's because the X-Men don't like to use their powers in public because they get discouraged. So they had to make sure that Cora was alone. Otherwise, public is going to hate the X-Men because in the comics, the public eye hate mutants.
what?
Because Marvel are racist. The Marvel public, I should say, not the company. They're against discrimination. That's the whole point of the X-Men.
But I will say, we were talking about this earlier, like the one specific counter that Cora had was claustrophobia. That was a little bit of a nitpick for a win condition, honestly.
Yeah, because how would she
Yeah.
find out? And I heard apparently Storm got over that phobia, like, at some point. So, kind of using it as a win condition for Cora is a little weird.
I feel like
I guess you could kind of view this episode like your favorite episode, mate. Like, because this is something that the team wanted to do for so long, they want to at least try and give the opponents that's obviously going to lose some benefits in the fight when realistically they don't have a chance of winning.
I mean, fair.
And plus, people were complaining the fact that Storm couldn't really hit Cora a lot. Is that really a bad thing if they try to make Cora look strong in the animation? Not really.
This is something we brought up in Lads Discuss Death Battle, where if a majority of people from the Death Battle community, like the fan community, Death Battles would suck. Just saying that outright, it would suck. Because if they wrote it exactly
Yeah, true.
how the analysis would go for people, like, oh, the fight would just end like this, the episodes would not be interesting.
Oh yeah, most fights would end in, like, the first 10 seconds.
And
And, like,
yeah,
what would be the point of watching it then? If you're just going to have it go like that. A channel parodying that sort of concept, and over time that joke got a bit redundant because they've done it so many times. It's just like, yeah, this is how I'd imagine most Death Battle fans if they did write future Death Battles. Obviously, there are Death Battle fans that have worked on the show that know how a fight should go for entertainment value, not for analysis reasons.
that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, I will add, like, there's something Max said in our, like, little discussion, a little rant about this episode I 100% agree with. And it being the reasoning that they didn't do Cora versus Rey to avoid toxicity. Like, your death battle!
Yeah, but honestly, compared to Cora and Rey's hate them, Rey has a bigger group that hate her, and I feel like if she did win, there would be a majority of people angry because Cora, as much as she was hated when she first arrived, over time she developed a fan base and is one of the biggest names in Avatar now.
Oh yeah, but the point is, like, every episode invites toxicity.
But I think this would invite a bit of a different toxicity, like Rey being honestly not that much of a loved character in the Star Wars community or even in the movie community. I don't even think her actress is really a big fan of her story. But I feel like, yeah, to see her win might... many people would probably be angry with that. Even more so, there'll probably be more people angry about it than there would have been for Ben 10 losing to Green Lantern. And we probably would never know this now, thanks to the dislike bar being gone, really.
Number 9. Lex versus Doom.
And that is where it is on
Okay.
my list, and I feel like that's a deserving spot.
I have it as number 6. I feel like this is like my guilty pleasure episode. Like, I like this more than other people do.
Fair.
It's a good episode. It features two of my favourites, villains in Marvel and DC. How can I not like this episode?
Also, the way they handled Doom, I feel like was better in this than in Doom versus Vader.
I feel
Especially
like
with Stephen Kelly as Doom going, "Oh, you fell for my time bomb. Now, foot dive."
Well, I mean, in fairness, for Vader vs. Doom, they were using voice lines.
yeah, but I
Yeah,
feel
but
like
also, and
it captured a lot of Doom. Sorry, Sean, do you want to say your piece first?
I was also gonna say, like, the analysis for Doom was a lot more entertaining this time around too.
Oh, abso-freaking-lutely.
It really delved into a lot of what made Doom such a unforgettable villain. Like, even though he's not part of the MCU yet, Doom will always be considered one of the biggest, like, Avengers, Fantastic Four villains, or even just Marvel villains.
Yeah, and that's why they did this matchup, because it was, like, two of the biggest villains that Marvel and DC have.
Yeah, which,
also like-
makes
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's also the fight
being a
where,
legacy episode.
I believe it's Grand Blazer who deconfirmed Ant-Man vs. Atom this year.
Ah,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because in his reasoning for why this matchup was happening, he said characters like Ant-Man and Atom aren't as big, pun intended, to fit in this kind of crowd.
yeah, they're not really legacy type of characters.
Nah.
so I like how
know
they
they've been
handled.
requested for years, but no one's really demanded. We need to see Ant-Man in Death Battle, because when Death Battle first started, no one knew who Ant-Man was really. He wasn't that.
No
much
one knew
of a
who
popular
Adam
character.
was.
It's true as well. But I didn't know
Thanks
who Adam was
to-
until Injustice 2.
Exactly.
I could see that fight happening like around when Ant-Man Quantumania is coming out.
I should probably read some of their comics. Apparently, they do get ridiculously powerful.
Yeah, probably.
Apparently, Atom can shrink down so much he can like lay a smack on Darkseid without him even seeing. This is a celestial being, and he can get smacked around by a tiny man.
Also, can we admit that I liked how they handled Lex's stuff too? Like, Lex's Iron Man was more so about the war suit, whereas this they incorporated both the war suit and Lex as Lex.
And Lex is
Surprised as well.
Superman.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised that in future DC comics he's now capable of fighting on par with Superman because he has now
Kryptonian.
Kryptonian like DNA inside of him. It's like that's rather interesting. But this does make me wonder though. Like, does this mean he can't really be killed by any other physical means except like Superman level strength and kryptonite magic?
Which Doom has.
I'm not saying like he could have lost this fight because I'm just saying like, does this mean when like future like DC fights with like other characters, can they not really defeat Lex Luthor now?
I don't know, I don't read the comics, I don't know what goes on.
Fair enough.
And Gianni as Lex, by the way.
He made a
Really
return.
good.
Yeah, and I still find this hilariously ironic, and yes, I have to point this out every time. When Lex is in his war suit, those are reskinned Iron Man sprites.
Yeah. That is sad.
Oh, the irony. And then, of course, Gianni comes back again as Batman and dies to Iron Man again.
It would have been funny if they found some way to incorporate Iron Man in not Lex versus Doom, in Akuma versus Khan then.
You know what, mate? Even more ironic, Doom was once Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, even that.
It's just, Lex can't escape the Iron Man.
Also, this was the first time we got I believe this was the first time we got a 3D background on a 2D animation. Because that was the point that Liam was hyping about when he tweeted about this episode.
I mean, we have had 2D sprites in 3D environments before.
I'm
I think
saying
Raiden versus 4 was one.
I thought that because, like I said, Liam was tweeting about it like a lot. He was tweeting about the environment and how this is how Death Battle is going to be when it comes to sprite fights from now on.
Do you know what this episode make?
Yeah.
You know why I put this episode higher than Shadow vs. Ryuko?
Because of 40 cakes?
Which didn't get referenced, I don't think.
It did.
Oh, it did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that Lex Luthor ass. That became a meme when that image came online.
Oh, God.
The Lex Luthor ass. To be fair, like, that part of the original... This whole sprite was custom made. They didn't, like, just get any Mugen sprites, right? Like, all Lex Luthor was handmade.
I have no idea. I would believe it, but...
But if it wasn't, the fact they went into that much detail to give him a Dick Grayson type of ass. Death Battle? I salute you.
Number 8! Hayachi versus Geese.
Oh, ouch. I had this at number 2.
Oof. I had this at number 11. Sorry, Sean.
What? Okay, I'm
didn't
not that
hate
mad.
the episode.
I can understand
Oh,
why.
you didn't tell me to fuck off. Sorry
I
about that.
I had this at number 8.
Wow. Okay. I really love this episode. People forget it exists, and that is just like, how?
Wait, how do
have
people
geese
forget
going
it
into
exists?
You know
because
what, Sean,
people
you
forget
definitely
the
deserve to...
highlights of this.
Will say, I don't think this episode was bad by any means. I just didn't think it... Because obviously I'm more of a Street Fighter and a Mortal Kombat fan, that's why I ranked it one higher over this episode. However, considering that this was technically my first introduction to these two characters, I was mildly impressed by it. And of course,
Did it make
the
you like-
predictable...
Dude, they used...
In English.
They use that so freaking well. Like, obviously, there's the rule of 3. Like, he does it 3 times, and on the third one, it's like the eyebrow wiggle. Don't say it. Predictable! And then Hayachi using it afterwards.
Hayachi
Then he threw Sasuke off. Remember that bit?
Yep.
Dude, I saw how the behind the scenes of them making that theft. That volcano was originally a toilet.
Oh, yeah.
What? Hold on. I need to hear this.
That's from. Okay, so Zach was posting behind the scenes of episodes for a bit. He posted one on on Heihachi Geese, and he shows Geese falling, and the image before he makes the volcano was a toilet, a stock toilet image, and then he turns it into a volcano.
That is brilliant. Mate, you have to post an image of that on the podcast.
If you guys can find it and send it to me, then yeah.
I'm going to Google it right now since I'm not recording.
It's on Zach's Twitter somewhere, but broken English was fantastic. Heihachi
I
speaking
just need to
Japanese.
actually say this.
Okay.
The moment you type in geese, before I write in the rest, it says falls off cliff. That is literally the first thing that comes up.
Oh, yeah, it's what he's known
That's what
for.
he
Although,
does.
Geese falls off
Yeah,
buildings.
I don't... Here's the thing. I'm not mentioning King of Fires. I literally just wrote geese, and it said falls off cliff. Not even like animals or anything like that.
I also like the touch of Heihachi speaking Japanese only to stick with the original routes that Tekken does.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that was a thing Tekken did, but hey, like, mad props for keeping it a thing in the episode.
Also, like, the way that they shot this with the camera going around, especially when they're fighting on top of the volcano, was really well executed.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
And god dang, Wolf, you made a really, really good non-vocal soundtrack with this one. Kings of Iron is really good. I feel like out of the 2 fighting game fights we got this season, this was probably the better one.
Well,
Yeah,
my list says otherwise.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I would put this, like, better than the other one. I mean, I did in my list, but...
The other one. Ouch.
Also, now that we got Boomstick and Wiz animated, we got to see an animated version of Robo Goose.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we've seen Mecha Goose Hour before this.
Yeah, but it's so nice to see them like Boomstick is holding Mecha Goose Howard though.
Wiz.
It was adorable. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Come on. That one needs its own death battle. At Goose versus Dummy. I mean, given if that Dummy can survive, like, anything that Wiz throws at him, I don't think the Goose is living.
Well, I mean,
Also,
that's only because there's so many dummies.
This episode had
True.
so many people split, too. Like, people weren't sure who to go with.
Yeah, before another episode made an appearance, this was considered to be the biggest split of the season.
Well, not for us. We all picked Heihachi at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I meant, like, in terms of, like, the whole community, like, many people were split on it.
Also, leading up to the death was very good. It made you think that despite Geese using his best attack, he was going to pull this off. Like when he blasts from the volcano and sending Heihachi down with him. It made you feel like Geese might have this. And then Heihachi's like, back to hell with you.
Yeah, just immediately. Nope.
That's what put it a bit higher than the other ones. Because, one, that was a good fake out, but then followed with another fake up. And it actually had a pretty cool one-liner to go out on. To hell with you, and just punches him into the lava, and the screen freezes, showing that punch. Is like, oh no, Geese is done.
Also, you know how I was saying that Lex versus Doom had one of the best deaths?
Yeah,
This one had the best death of the first half.
Yeah,
It's like
that
the hand-drawn
death. Oof.
segment. And then Luis just sits back and goes, why did I do this?
I spent a day drawing this.
Oh, the death scream is well done. You see just his skin melting off his skull, and then his skull just completely evaporating. Like, ouch. Lex was deaf when he got sliced up.
And then Heihachi just punches the monitor like, show's over.
Yeah. I think Max pointed this out, though. They were both fighting for each other's companies. Honestly, Heihachi really would not even bother, because his company is way larger.
Yeah, that's not really a fair deal.
It's like, alright, then if you win, you get this billionaire's company. But if this guy wins, he gets your chicken and chip shop. It's like, why would I want that? And I don't think I'm going to lose, but why would I want that?
Number 7. Link vs. Cloud.
Which, funny enough, is below Heihachi versus Geese. So, Sean, at least you got that. At least I liked it more than that.
Fair enough. I think a lot of people like this episode, like when it came out, and then they saw this tweet from somebody, and he brought up a point, and then a lot of people started hating this episode.
What?
Really?
Like, it was something about Death Battle, like they were hyping up this was the first ever Blender fight, and then someone was like, actually, Death Battle have used Blender before for their backgrounds, and then people were just like, okay, never mind.
I don't think a lot of people actually hate the episode, though. I think a lot
You'll be
of the only
surprised.
people-
Some people have this lower on their list nowadays.
Yeah, but again, if it's the vocal minority we're a part of, because from a lot of like people I've seen on YouTube, many people do like the episode, and I think it's actually still got quite a few decent views as well.
I think it was a really good rematch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want to admit, I went into this not really expecting too much from it, and I didn't hate this episode, but I wouldn't say I loved it either, because I'm not too attached to Zelda or Cloud. Except for Wind Waker, I absolutely love Zelda Wind Waker.
Dude, you need to play more Legend of Zelda games.
I need to
I
play
do
a
want to
Legend
start
of
playing
Zelda
Breath
game.
of the Wild. I have been watching Zach,
Dude, that's a
play that on his
fantastic
streams.
choice.
Of course, the reason I was a bit more excited for it is I have played the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that is a fantastic game.
I recently
One of my
watched
favourite games from last year.
I recently watched a Let's Play of it.
Such a beautiful game, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
Sephiroth. I can see why Joe loves this man. He's an intimidating villain. And I may be gay for him.
You know, I feel like that this episode's references also are like, you have to be fans of like Final Fantasy to get some of them.
And Legend
Like
of Zelda.
Yeah, specifically though, like there was an Advent Children reference, as well as when Link tries to stab Cloud, it's a reference to when Sephiroth stabbed Aerith.
There's also a reference to a scene in the remake, like when they're both on their bikes.
Yeah. Sword fighting on motorcycles. Sword fighting on motorcycles?
That was kind of cool though.
I'll throw in that little reference for you, mate.
Thanks.
And then just seeing Cloud fall down the cliff, like going, ow, ow, this hurts.
You know what?
Yeah, but he stuck the
Didn't
landing.
someone say I think I remember. I'm not sure if this is entirely true, but apparently they just let the model ragdoll for a bit in that scene.
I think
Apparently
that's the
they
case.
just let it ragdoll, and then they did the animation where he stuck the landing.
Okay, that's
They also,
funny.
Where to save budget? Can you imagine? Imagine if all 3D Death Battle started doing that, where if a character's fallen, they just made them ragdoll.
Dude, sometimes ragdoll
Also-
is like the best thing ever.
yes.
Oh, yeah. Ragdoll physics are the goats of gaming.
Also, for Link not having a voice actor that whole episode,
Well,
really well done. Like incorporating his sound effects.
well, yeah, I'm kind of glad they didn't get a voice actor for him, but at the same time, it would have been hilarious if they got a voice actor just to do the grunts and yells.
I mean, Cloud also
Yeah.
had a voice actor this time around, but you didn't hear much of him.
Not
he
much.
really didn't.
But I do like
Remember all
his...
his lines.
I do like his "excuse me" when Link is just smashing all those pots.
Like
that
I
bit
feel
was
like
funny.
that's just a genuine reaction. I feel like anyone would have seeing that too. It's just like, "Excuse me, what are you doing?"
Yeah,
And
why
then
are you...
Cloud-
You weirdo.
Then Cloud makes effort to save one pot in particular getting thrown at him with his
Yeah,
sword.
because they were fighting in Aerith's church.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Got that
so
little detail.
from Cloud's perspective, this guy was just ransacking his dead friend's home.
Oof, it's got dark.
Speaking of
Again,
dark,
when does
the
Final Fantasy
lighting
ever have a...
was fantastic too.
You know,
The
I
way
do
they
have
make it-
to...
Go ahead.
I'm not going to talk much about this episode. I'm going to mainly leave it to you guys, but I won't lie, I do have this only 12 on my list. That's being because the only thing that was good for me this episode was the comedy. The fight itself was actually not too great for me. I love the hey listen bit. I enjoyed the the
The Navi
ragdoll
reference.
I enjoyed the little cloud. Not cloud. I loved when Cloud started ragdolling. I loved when Link started smashing up the pot, and the doubles being sucked into the black hole. Aside that, I can't really say what was really my favorite moment in the fight. That was cool, because honestly, it just looked like a pretty fight.
I think that death could have been better as well because in one shot you have it going like Final Fantasy, but then you see Link's corpse actually falling down.
Yeah, it
Which ending
was.
happened?
It was weird.
They should have just committed to. They should have just committed to, he gets sliced in half, show a little bit of blood, and then, just he evaporates like in Final Fantasy.
Also, that
I mean, for
Omni
shits and
Slash-
giggles, maybe the victory screen comes up and his reward is like the Master Sword and Shield.
But they should have. I wish Renner was able to find a way to incorporate the victory fanfare into Final Breath.
Yeah, but
Then again, it'd be an obvious outcome.
yeah, but also I feel like Final Breath. Oh my god, that music is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
It was-
all I really have to say about this episode. It's like, it was funny.
I think one of my favorite parts has to be after the dual swords and just like Cloud fighting off 4 Links. And then there's like all the Links strategizing. Like one of them turns into a fairy, distracts Cloud, the other plants bombs. One fights him up close, one shoots it with an ice arrow. And they set up what was the death in the original episode.
Who is the writer for this? Do you know off the top of your head? Because that's
shit.
probably why it was done so well because they wrote it very well. Also, the animators went nuts with this.
Yeah, I can't remember who the writer was. Hang on.
While May figures that out, I also love Dark Deity Link's design. We don't see much of it, but we got to see some really cool stuff with it. And the way the music picks up as it's getting thrown around, and then you see it chuck something at Cloud, and Cloud just doesn't budge.
By the way, the episode
Final
was
Fantasy remake.
the episode was written by Genevieve.
Okay.
That was amazing the way she wrote that to go like it did. Props to Genevieve for that.
I feel like the only reason I enjoyed, also props to the Riot for this episode.
Props to the writers
The
for
only
every
reason I really-
episode.
Indeed.
I feel like the only reason I was rooting for Cloud near the end was because, you know what, the Final Fantasy remake both humanized him and it made Cloud really cool. Is that You do feel sorry for the character in the remakes. I'm pretty sure you would in the original as well, but obviously I've never played the original. I only just recently played another Square Enix game that I never want to touch again for a specific reason.
Yeah, Cloud's been through a lot.
Yeah, and honestly, if the next part of the remake that comes out soon, it's going to be through a lot more. Again. I actually dread when that comes. I was like, oh, I love this character. Oh, wait a minute, I recognize this character. I've
like
seen the
this
memes.
The memes. What do they mean?
Oh, for God's sake. I can't even be mad, so I love that meme as well. At this point, is our podcast just memes and thumb counters?
Apparently.
And butts
I accept
sometimes.
that.
And Blake plushie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, the Blake voice lines.
Oh, I've said my piece. I think this was a fantastic mid-season finale, and for our first ever full Blender fight, this was really well done.
Yeah.
Team Dad killed it.
I also want to add, like, okay, because we had another rematch episode a couple years back, Mario vs. Sonic. I feel like this was done way better.
I feel like we've been on the subject for a long time, so I think we'll probably save that for another video.
Alright. I just think this is the best rematch death battle we've had. Number 6. Yoda vs. King Mickey.
Damn, I was kind of hoping it was Dio versus Alucard because devil number.
And do you know what, mate? Do you just want to read out where I put this episode?
Hang on, let me pull it up.
Did you have... Okay, this was our season premiere.
Billy. You had this at number 14.
Ooh, interesting.
So, I guess I should explain it, given the fact I was praising this episode a lot when it first came out.
Explain yourself,
I have
boy.
to admit. Yeah, so... Please, Death Battle fans, don't kill me, please! No, please! Okay, so when this episode first came out, I loved it, because obviously I'm a Yoda fan. I love Star Wars, in case you don't know. And obviously, Yoda's one of my favourites. So of course I was happy he was in Death Battle. He was fighting Mickey Mouse. I mean, technically King Mickey, but look, people, I don't care. It's Mickey Mouse. It looks like Mickey Mouse, it sounds like Mickey Mouse, and it's a continuation of one of his movies. It's Mickey Mouse, alright? I don't care if it's King Mickey or Mickey the Third. It's like, no, it's Mickey Mouse. That's what made it funny for me. It's Yoda versus Mickey Mouse. However, as future Death Battles was coming out, and looking at previous premieres, this was kind of the weakest one for me when I was rewatching. I was just like, hey. I mean, obviously, is it better than, like, Samus versus Boba Fett? Yeah, to an extent, sure. But, of course, that episode was during Season 1. I can't really be that harsh on it. I will say, Devil Artemis definitely redeemed himself from Batgirl versus Spider-Gwen.
Well, it wasn't just Devil Artemis.
And this was
yeah,
our
it was the
last...
D team.
It was the last SFM fight we got, too, before they wanted to go to Blender.
Yeah, but... You know, so this episode's obviously way better than Spider-Gwen versus Batgirl. But obviously, as time went on, I didn't really consider it one of the best episodes, and it's kind of funny that after I was kind of saying Link versus Card wasn't a favorite episode, I did enjoy it more than Yoda versus Mickey when I was rewatching it for this list.
Okay.
I still think it's better than Shadow versus Ryuko, though, so... There's that, although I'm not sure if people are going to hate me for saying that. So
Okay.
I feel like there's no redemption here. I feel like I'm screwed either way.
I have this in the middle of the road for a couple of reasons. I thought this was a really great season premiere to have, and it was done really well. The music, especially towards the end, was amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
Music, I definitely started enjoying a bit more. I think I remember saying in the podcast I didn't enjoy it as much, but no, as I was constantly listening to it, I did enjoy it a bit more. I was like, you know what, I was a bit harsh on it. It's actually pretty good.
Voice acting for Yoda and King Mickey were also really well done. This is where Phil Sacramento made his debut, by the way, for this season, and I think he did really well as Yoda.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like the voices also carried this episode a bit higher on my list.
Yeah, I think in the script they had them talking less, but they kept adding stuff in because their voices are hilarious. Like, make them talk more.
Oh yeah, and Yoda hitting Mickey with the stick, that's obviously a highlight for me.
I love that part so much.
And he did the falling over face. That was also a nice little reference.
Poor Yoda. He ended up Mickey are dead. Best pun of the season, by the way.
It's also funny enough, even though Yoda did die, it was a wholesome kind of ending.
But yeah, because he went out as a troll.
Dude, the Force Ghost coming back only to have King Mickey hit him with the Keyblade.
Laugh it up, fuzzball!
KO! I feel like the only real downside was the scaling they did for King Mickey was a little bit unneeded. Down the Roxas, completely fine. To Zeus and Hercules, that's a little bit pushing it.
Yeah, I've always kind of had an issue with the whole scaling things from the community, because it's like, oh, if this character did this, then this character who's somewhat similar or has fought on par with characters they've fought on, I must be on a similar scale. It's like, not entirely. This is one of the issues I had with Poe's analysis and Iron Fist. I suppose, I can't really say Poe is as powerful as they say, and I'm kind of on the same boat with this one.
It's kind of weird that you have it ranked so low, being a Star Wars fan and all. I thought your personal enjoyment for it would have put it a little bit higher.
But that's the thing. It's like, you know what? Yoda was good and all, but at the same time, the analysis wasn't that funny. The fight itself was, well, it was fun at some points. I won't lie. I think I didn't really get as many highlights aside, the Yoda jokes. Him hitting Mickey with a stick, him doing the falling over face, his laugh. Actually, this one did put it higher above Shadow vs. Ryuko and Iron Fist vs. Poe for me. The ending part where Yoda starts using the Force to hover and making duplicates of himself, grabs the laser, and I don't know, that was actually pretty nice. And the fact he accepted his death after defeat, it's like, what? He went out like a Jedi.
And we all
Obviously, obviously, that was pretty much it for me. It was like, what was the funniest joke in the episode? And I'm like, oh no. So there wasn't that many memorable jokes in the Whiz and Boomstick analysis.
I mean, I love the opening of Yoda's analysis, where it's just Boomstick doing the Yoda speak, Whiz being all, "You're not gonna do that the whole episode, are you? Tell me what to do, you cannot."
I also just love how, when King Mickey goes, "You could have fooled me" during the animation, where he puts the finger made so many people go, what's wrong with that? There's something wrong about that.
I think that's something he does, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's the other way. It had an opposite in this one because of clipping issues.
Oh.
I think, as the season premiere goes, it was really solid all around.
Yeah.
A good baseline to judge other episodes off of.
Honestly, I'd argue, this might be the best season premiere episode we've had. It's either this or Dante vs. Bayonetta.
I argue Dante Bayonetta.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd argue He-Man versus Lion-O.
Also a solid choice.
I mean, yeah.
I'm going to be muted for a few seconds. I've kind of said my piece, but someone's calling me, so I'll be right back.
But yeah, I just like this episode because the fight is great. Animation is amazing. The way they use their abilities a lot, the references, the Yoda face hitting Mickey with a stick. Even Mickey saying "Wahapa."
Or King Mickey going, "Hot dog!" They got such a good voice actor for King Mickey. Oh my god. When they do Mickey versus Bugs, he should come back.
Absolutely. And I think they've confirmed that they are going to do that episode one day after they did this episode.
Maybe.
Yeah, I want to see Mickey versus Bugs, so that has me hyped.
I only say maybe because I haven't heard that. That'd be a fun episode. I think I said everything I want to say about this episode. Pretty solid all around.
Yeah, honestly. I've also, in the music, when it gets that final bit after specifically when Yoda's saying, surrender you should, the power of the Force you have not. If you look at Mickey's face, he's going through the thought process of, like, he might be right, but I gotta keep trying! And...
Yeah,
it's just so good.
That's the best part of the soundtrack with the fight as well, too.
At that
Mickey
point when Mickey said his line, and the music kicked in, that was pretty sick.
And that followed with do or do not, there is no try. I still can't believe they worked that line in.
And Mickey's voice actor must have really hurt their throat when he did that Ultima scream.
Oh, I'll get to cutting throats later. But shall we move on to the top 5?
Yeah, because me and my family want to play Monopoly on the Switch.
Alright.
I think I'm ready for this.
Number 5. Dio versus Alucard.
I feel like it should have been a little higher, but I'm not against it being in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a really good episode. Liam did such a good job writing and directing it.
In this episode, maybe go watch all the things Dio's been in, and he's probably one of my favourite villains now. And I love the rolled roller scene. That I was cracking up laughing at that.
Yeah.
So it's treated such like a serious scene as well. Dramatic music and everything.
But it's just ridiculous that he pulls a steamroller out of nowhere.
The original, it was actually never a steamroller. It was like an oil tanker.
Huh.
So they retconned that and it became a meme.
Rocky was like, "No, screw that steamroller."
Oh my goodness! And when you do watch the anime and that whole fight with him and Jotaro, is it Jotaro that he fights?
Jotaro, yeah.
Yeah.
Jotaro. Okay, I was just saying his name wrong. Like I said, I'm bad with Japanese names.
At least
there's no
to pronounce.
Okay, apparently his time stop takes 10 seconds before 10 seconds in anime time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Before it goes back to normal. There's no steamrollers or road rollers anywhere. And suddenly he just reappears with it just in his hands. It's like, where'd you even get that? It wasn't even a construction site.
Oh yeah, but
I got it from Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, but doesn't like the length of him stopping time increase the more he uses it?
Yes. Up to a
I mean,
maximum.
yeah, that's fair. Honestly, I would actually love that if he did stop time just to quickly order off Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, hang on. Okay, now to throw nice and miss at old man Joseph. And ordered. Yay.
To be fair, if I could stop time, I would always be updating my wish list on Amazon.
Oh no, if I could stop time, well, there's something in the Adam Sandler movie Click I would probably do. That being, if I was ever in a position where my boss at work pissed me off, pause time, slap in the face.
With my one, it would be punching a spoiled brat in the face.
Or that. Basically, I would just stop time to fuck with people.
Speaking of fucking with people, learning about what Dio did to everybody is really disturbing.
Oh, yeah!
First-time watchers.
Like,
What I kind of loved about it, the thing that made me want to go watch his show was the fact he made a lady eat her baby. I was like, listen, when I was trying to write a comic book series, I had some dark villains, but that takes the cake.
they even said it in the episode, like, they've covered a lot of pieces of shit, but yeah, Dio takes the cake. Well, it's either him or Reverse Flash.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Didn't Dio vs. Alucard come out after Dio?
Yeah, it did.
It came after Macho Man vs. Coolie Man, to be exact.
Right,
It was a Halloween episode, and arguably probably the best Halloween episode.
Yeah, the fact that they were saying Reverse Flash was like the worst villain, and then a few episodes later, say like, okay, Dio's the biggest piece of shit.
Okay, there we go. Death battle idea. Reverse Flash versus Dio. Let's do it.
It was I. It was me. It was I. It was me.
Oh my goodness. Joking aside, I would actually love to see that fight.
I mean,
unironically, I would love to watch that.
yeah. I mean, Reverse Flash wins. Let's be real.
I don't care. I mean, to be fair, if he kills Dio, that's a win.
I mean, it'd be fun. Like, no matter what.
Learning about Helsing was
Would you
fun.
get to see the world?
I don't think he would,
No.
but could you imagine if Dio stops time, but Thorn is still moving?
Oh my
It's
god, that
just-
would be epic.
No way. Thawne would do this to just fuck with Dio. Like, it looks like he's frozen in time, but as soon as Dio approaches him, Thawne just punches him in the face.
I mean, he has moved at speeds where he does move beyond time, so that's not impossible to happen.
We can also talk about Reverse Flash a bit later.
Of course.
Yep.
Because, oh my god, Dio and Alucard made this literally the bloodiest fight ever.
And, man, that was a great use of, like, 3D effects and 2D sprites. Like, the zombie sprites in with the blood as they were climbing up Big Ben.
Yeah.
The hand-to-hand combat on top of Big Ben.
That.
And also that death. Brutal. And that must have hurt Tom's vocal cords.
Yeah, like, okay. So, punching the shit out of Alucard to make him just, like, pretty much explode into a rain of blood, and then just screaming as your opponent's blood rains down on you. I gotta admit, that's a badass way to end a fight.
The irony that this guy voiced Kool-Aid Man. Literally the episode before.
But maybe that wasn't blood. Maybe that was Kool-Aid. maybe this fight was the origin of the Kool-Aid Man. Dio became him afterwards.
Also,
Pat, get on this.
I know we're talking about Dio a lot, but Taka is Alucard.
Oh, they had to.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't really get to say much about my investment in Alucard because I was doing Billy Bean.
Yeah, you couldn't make it, so we had both Kier and Fireball on to talk about Alucard a lot, because Fireball's favorite character is Alucard.
And Alucard is honestly one of my favorite characters in my anime. It's kind of funny. It's like, Goku, Naruto, Sailor Moon, Alucard. It's like, one of these guys is not like the other.
And one of these guys is a real fucking vampire.
That's not an Alucard line in the anime, but I was like, you know what? If they're going to get one abridged line in, they have to get that one. Like they make it sound more demonic as well than Goofy like it did in the abridged.
Yeah. Oh, and talking of, like, working in lines, I love how they use the "it was I." Like, have Dio gloating, but then he sees what Alucard's doing. Dio? It's like, oh shit.
Funny.
And then that screenshot.
Oh yeah, that scream.
Also, the way Alucard's, like, artificial limbs, I guess is the best way to put it, transforming into part dog and then into wings was very well nice and done.
You know, I think a lot of people's worry was, could Taka carry over more serious type of Alucard over his goofy interpretation? And as someone who's watched both the English and Japanese dub, yes, I think Taka did exponentially. That's not a word, but I'm making it up on the spot right now. Add it to my dictionary. He was fantastic. And the line, "If I'm a dog, you're dog food," after that chuckle, it was like, wow, he actually managed to make that sound even cooler than in the anime.
I also heard a lot of people, like, praise his, sat pray that he says, right before the end of the fight. Like, the bird of Hermes is my name.
Yeah, that got so many people excited
Taking my
in
wings
their
to
reactions.
make me tamed. That's actually one of the. That's one of the famous quotes of the person he's based off, and also it's one of the name of the episodes of the anime. So he got super serious with that as well. Not even goofy or mocking, like straight up dead serious Taka.
Yeah, I enjoyed this episode a lot. I know some people complained about the outcome, but I think the post-analysis was the best part.
Okay, do you know what? Is it alright if I kind of say something to the Alucard and Helsing fans?
Go right ahead.
As someone who's a big Alucard and Helsing fan?
Yeah, you weren't on
weak.
Yeah, I was about to say you weren't on the podcast, so have the floor, my guy.
So, okay, here's the thing, my fellow Alucard fans. I love Alucard. But do you know what? There's another character I want to kind of bring up. Agent 47. As much as that character in his universe is considered the most powerful, put 47 up against any other character in fiction and he gets wrecked. Any other fictional assassin, he gets killed.
Well, it looks like we're getting a spy win.
Well,
And now let's look at Alucard. Now let's compare him to every vampire in anime history. Yeah, Alucard's not that powerful. Sure, he's the most iconic. At the same time, Goku's the most iconic anime character. Doesn't mean he can win every anime fight. There's going to be some characters that beat him, and Alucard's just in that same boat. There's going to be characters that absolutely destroy him.
I think a lot of people just kind of hyped him up because of like the way his healing factor works.
And not only that, it's also the fact that, unlike Dio, Alucard has been around for a long time, and the fact he's had a big impact on like horror in anime, because horror in anime they're not really that popular, but Hellsing kind of changed that. And obviously Dio, though, let's be real here, he's mainly popular for the memes.
I mean, from what I know of JoJo, that's why it's popular.
They're good memes, though.
I mean,
They are good memes, I will. So, I think Alucard, yeah, and honestly, just from the analysis on Dio, like, this whole laser beam thing and managing to move at light speed, it's like, yeah, I do not see Alucard even keeping up with this guy. And one of the things I've been saying for a long time, Alucard can't see the world. And he can't really hurt the world. The only thing that can hurt the world is either a specific holy spell that was in the anime, or another Stan user. Which unfortunately, Alucard is not. So, yeah, I'm sorry guys, if you want to carry on getting mad because you think Alucard was done dirty, he wasn't. He's just not powerful enough to keep up with Dio. I'm sorry.
Nah.
It's hard for me to say that, but sometimes you just got to bite the bullet, much like what Alucard's done a few times, and just accept the fact he's just not going to be able to beat Dio.
I mean, like,
I mean,
what
the fight
literally
can't be
Dio
awesome.
tried to do? He tried to eat the bullets, but it just went straight through his mouth, as he's straight up savage.
But that was actually another line that I loved that Takara said. You want blood, you filthy, disgusting monster? Choke on your own. It's like, holy shit. That was a brutal delivery, and I loved it.
And the only complaint I've seen, like, well, that I personally have with this is just the world sprite is not that great. Also because of inconsistency how he looks in every other media.
Yeah, but if it's inconsistent with, like, the official media, then it's like, eh.
Yeah, that's why it's a very minor complaint I have.
This is actually a nice little detail. I think we brought this up before, but when the world punches the goop, you notice his eyes in a split second before he gets consumed. His eyes widen up because he couldn't see what he was punching.
No,
He's like, oh shit.
I'm writing a video. I want to make so many jokes out of that one clip.
It's a blink and you'll miss a moment. He punches, it misses, and he's like, oh fuck. He gets consumed by the blood. It's like the world was like, I'm gonna die. I mean, he didn't, but the face it made, it's a brief moment and you'll miss it, and I love it.
Also, Hell Over Heaven, really good idea. And really good execution on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
This is Blake Belladonna with Your Only Mate saying like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.